And welcome back. This is your man Warrior. This is another patron roster review. This is Baron from Dagobah Camping Supply Ltd. And Baron wants to know about ships, arena, what he could do for his team, a little bit about territory wars, some teams for territory wars, and then Sith raid, kind of where to focus on Sith raid. And a lot of this intertwines and kind of has meaning in other areas. And so we're going to go ahead and start with the easiest. And the first and easiest is ships. You've got a pretty good team. In fact, Kylo Ren ship is a viable alternative for your top five. And I know that you don't have first order TIE pilot nearly as well as you have your TIE silencer, and so you can and should use the TIE silencer. But Boba Fett's ship, for me, I would actually pull that and put Biggs in there so you have a tank, because currently you have no way of taunting and protecting your ships, so they can target down your TIE Reaper and then immediately go to town, killing all your other ships and preventing your capital ship from effectively taking a turn. And so Biggs is going to help in that. I would definitely highly recommend continuing to develop Biggs' ship and put Boba Fett in the back lineup if that's a ship you still want to use. So that's the easiest quick fix for that. I know you didn't ask about ships, but I just wanted to give that 2 cents on that. Now, you did ask about regular arena, and I know that arena is difficult because there's a lot of people running Emperor Palpatine. You've got a few CLS dashed in, maybe some Night Sisters, and you probably have a bunch of Jedi Training Rey still kind of scattered throughout, and it's really tough. And so I know your thought process with 2 tanks is, if I put 2 tanks in the background, this is going to make it really hard for them to get to who they want to get to, and in the meantime, Thrawn's fracturing, and Emperor Palpatine's doing quite a bit of damage. And it works. Darth Vader gets some turn meter, and he has a pretty wicked culling blade once you get some debuffs down. And so this isn't a bad team, but I've tried to run this team myself personally, and General Kenobi, while he's a phenomenal, one of the best, if not the best tanks in the game, does not work as well in this team as Darth Nihilus. And I looked, and you actually have Darth Nihilus, and you've got him 7-star, and you've got him like leveled up and maxed out and all of that. So Darth Nihilus is really the character that should be in your arena team. It should be Emperor Palpatine led with Thrawn, Sion, Darth Vader, just like you have now, but then Darth Nihilus. Not only will Darth Nihilus create additional synergy and additional turn meter for Darth Vader, but the reason why you're probably not and you're hesitant to do this is because you probably don't have superior mods to those characters that are in your leaderboard, and so you're going, man, but they get to go first, and when they go first, they kill me, and I can't win. And so I'm going to give you some suggestions. If it's not that, if you got just as good a mods, then you're doing yourself a disservice by not having Darth Nihilus in your team. But if you're not going first, and that's what scares you, and you keep losing on offense with Darth Nihilus in there instead of General Kenobi, let me tell you some secrets on that arena team and how to win. First, the other team will go first. That's the assumption, right? Because their Darth Vader is faster and you can't match speeds. That's okay. What you will do is you're going to Zeta Darth Nihilus unique. What happens is their Darth Vader does his Force Crush. He puts a bunch of debuffs down on your Darth Nihilus, which then feeds turn meter because your Sion got debuffed, and those debuffs go to turn meter for Darth Nihilus. So instantly, before he can even do his Culling Blade, because of 1 Zeta, you now get to use your Darth Nihilus cooldown increase. That's over. Right there, the opposing team is done because you just increased their entire cooldowns. Their Emperor Palpatine's not going to go first. He's only going to get to use a shock. Their Thrawn is not going to be able to, effectively be used for turn 1. You've slowed them down. So you're 1 Zeta away from Darth Nihilus being the most overpowered character in your top 5 and the key to going against faster Darth Vader teams that have faster Darth Vaders. And I'm telling you this because of personal experience. I get number 1 every day, and my Darth Vader is there's like 7 to 10 people with faster Darth Vaders, and I have to win. And I was struggling with Darth Nihilus in there, and as soon as I put the Zeta on Darth Nihilus's unique, I instantly no longer had a struggle. In fact, many people who were beating me pretty effectively started to have problems beating me on their offense, my defense, And I felt that was really, really contributed towards Darth Nihilus' unique. Again, all that extra turn meter is super important. So we're going to talk about your arena team and assume that you're going to go with the Emperor Palpatine-led team, Thrawn, Sion, Darth Vader, Darth Nihilus, because that's what's smart. You wanted to know about Zetas. I'm going to give you 3 Zetas that you should focus on. The first is going to be that Lord of Hunger on Darth Nihilus. It's actually the most important of the 3 that I'm going to suggest because it gives Darth Nihilus all that extra turn meter, which in fact allows for him to interrupt the opposing faster team's rhythm and cause disruption in their abilities to take turns and whatnot. So because of that, Darth Nihilus's Lord of Hunger is going to be the first Zeta that I suggest. The number 2 Zeta that I'm going to suggest is actually going to be on your Sion, Lord of Pain. So number 1, Lord of Hunger on Darth Nihilus. Number 2, Lord of Pain with Sion. And by the way, Sion and Nihilus work really well together. You need them on the same team, regardless of the other 3. Like, you have to have Sion with Nihilus and Nihilus with Sion. It makes crazy sense to do that. So I would highly recommend Lord of Pain be the next. He goes from being a really good tank to a very overpowered tank with this. So if you've got a couple Zetas sitting around, these 2 uniques, Lord of Pain and Lord of Hunger, are absolutely unequivocally for your arena team number 1 and number 2 best Zetas. And trust me, the moment you pop these Zetas on these 2 characters, you're going to start decimating people and going, why is it so much easier to beat everybody? And you'll notice that it's because of these Zetas. They're very, very effective in this specific team composition. And the third that I would suggest is in fact Darth Vader's unique as well. Uniques are excellent for Zeta choices because you can use these characters in any team, but this Zeta on Darth Vader will make his ship faster and healthier, and that is going to help you in ship's arena. Also, this is going to make him better in regular arena. He won't have turn meter reduction capability. People can't reduce his turn meter and whatnot, and so this Zeta on No Escape is the number 3 Zeta that I would highly recommend, especially because you already have your Emperor Palpatine Zetas and Thrawn's Ebb and Flow. So we're really looking at the last 3 pieces. So I would do Lord of Hunger on Darth Nihilus, Lord of Pain on Sion, and then No Escape on Darth Vader. All 3 uniques, so that way you can use these characters in any team composition in the future. Now let's move into territory wars, and I'm just going to briefly talk about a few teams that you could utilize, such as Imperial Troopers you can use on offense, Emperor Palpatine-led Empire team or / Sith team, kind of like your arena team. You can use that on defense. You know, Resistance, you're going to want to use them on offense. Your CLS-led Rebel team, you're going to want to use that on defense. By the way, use Chirrut and Baze together with a CLS-led Rebels. It's a really, really good combination. And then you could use like First Order on defense. And that leads me to the 2 factions that I'm going to talk about. So the first that I'm going to talk about is First Order. And the reason why is they are one of the best teams in territory wars. They're phenomenal. They get bonuses, very specific bonuses based on the fact that they're First Order for territory wars. And you've got a really great start to First Order. Now, the reason why I bring up First Order is twofold. You want to know about some Sith raid teams, and you want to know about some territory war teams and kind of who to focus on. The biggest thing you told me was focus. You're struggling with focus in the game, and I'm going to tell you your number 1 focus outside of those arena conversations we just had is going to be First Order. And this is why. You can use First Order in Phase 4 of the Sith raid very effectively. You can also use them in Phase 2 very effectively, and Phase 3, but Phase 4 is probably who I would recommend in Phase 4 using is First Order. And Kylo Ren looks really great. Kylo Ren Unmasked, Captain Phasma, First Order TIE Pilot, and the First Order Officer are all 7 stars and Gear 7 or above. So you're already on a really, really good start for a First Order team. So for me, I would say because they're amazing on defense in territory wars, that you should definitely not just keep them where they're at, but work on them. And that also means then that Kylo Ren Unmasked, you're going to want to do a Zeta on his leadership ability. His unique is nice, giving him the auto taunt capability, and it really does help with viability and durability of your team, especially since you don't have the First Order TIE pilot. So I would recommend Scarred secondarily, but Merciless Pursuit is an absolute must have. Now you got time because your characters are all gear 7 and 8 right now, but if you do those 2 Zetas on Kylo Ren Unmasked, this whole entire team will be phenomenal. Get them up to gear 10 or above and you're going to be just fine. Great faction to really hyper focus on. Now there is one side character that I wanted to talk to you about. Obviously you're going to work on your Imperial troopers. They're important in all aspects of the game, not just ships, but territory wars, territory battles, all of that. So Imperial troopers should be kind of side projects that you're continuing to work on. But what I notice is you don't have the Imperial probe droid. The Imperial probe droid is one of those characters, just like Darth Nihilus, that you have to have if you're doing territory wars. You have to have it, and this is why. You can take in a junk team with an Imperial probe droid, and if you're going against another First Order or a Jedi Training Ray team or whatever, you can go in and have the Imperial probe droid blow up and kill their leader, such as kill their Jedi Training Ray or kill their Kylo Ren Unmasked, and then when you go in on the second team, you'll be able to beat the team far easier. Even if you're the one that goes in and just destroys one character and you can't do anymore, your team will thank you for it, I promise you. And so I highly recommend you get the Imperial probe droid, and the moment you unlock him, gear him up even at 5 stars, get him up as high as you can, and put all health and speed mods on him. Make him fast and very, very healthy. As much health as possible, not protection. And this is why the protection's going to go away, and then you need him as durable as possible as soon as he starts taking hits that are under health. You want to make sure he doesn't get killed before you get a chance to have another turn and blow up. So health, health, health on the Imperial probe droid, and you need to get the Imperial probe droid so that way you can use him. And this goes for everyone in your guild. They definitely should focus on the Imperial probe droid. It's a way to soften a hard team and make it more manageable for sure. Once you get those First Order in place and you got your Imperial probe droid working on and you're still working on your Imperial troopers, the second major faction that I would focus on for you for in-game is going to be Night Sisters. And the other reason is you can use Night Sisters in Phase 4 as well for the Sith raid. So this is another variant. They also work really, really well in Phase 2. So again, just like First Order works well in multiple phases of the Sith raid, so do the Night Sisters. And I would highly recommend that you work on these guys. Now you've got a good start to the team, you just kind of need to finish it off. So Asajj Ventress, Old Daka, Mother Talzin, Night Sister Zombie, and you can do the +1 either Talia or Night Sister Acolyte. So that's how it is. I do believe that Mother Talzin and Zombie will be farmable sometime in the next 6 weeks. I'm very confident in that. And so I'm hoping that you'll be able to finish off starring up these characters. But the Imperial Troopers, Night Sisters, and First Order, those 3 factions, I know they're all dark side, but those 3 factions are the most important factions for you for territory wars, territory battles, and the Sith raid, to give you 3 viable teams that are going to give you a lot of damage and going to help you both on offense and defense in all facets of the game. Now, I know that you don't have the Rey Jedi training team yet, but in Phase 1 of the Sith raid, that would definitely be the team I'd probably recommend is a Rey Jedi training. There's really not a whole lot that works that well. You could do, any combination of leftovers in Phase 1, but then for Phase 2, I would use your arena team, your Emperor Palpatine, Thrawn, Sion, Darth Vader, Darth Nihilus. Like, that's the team I would use for Phase 2. And then Phase 3, I would use your Imperial Troopers. And then Phase 4, I would use your Night Sisters and First Order. Now, again, all of your teams need work, and so this isn't going to work for the Sith raid, but this gives you focus on the Sith raid. And so the 3 main factions, again, that you need to focus on: Night Sisters, First Order, Imperial Troopers. Now let's go back one more time to Arena. And remember, get rid of General Kenobi, throw in Darth Nihilus, Zeta Darth Nihilus, Zeta Sion, and Zeta Darth Vader. But Darth Vader is the least important Zeta. And once you do that, watch the magic of your team, and you're going to climb easily into the top 30, and you're going to be able to stay there, and it's going to be exciting even with only 1 tank, because the Zetas are truly magic. on this team. So I hope this helps. If anybody has any suggestions for Baron, leave them in the comments down below. And as always, keep your gaming on. Warrior out.